my internet friends. I literally didn't even give you a countdown. I was just like, we're going. Nope. Welcome, my internet friends. Welcome to the Medicare Cafe. We're just doing the pre-chat right now, which basically means that we are logging on just a few minutes early to make sure that we are answering any and all questions that you may have in regards to this AEP. It doesn't even have to be about AEP. It could be about like what we had for breakfast, what we're into, what shows we're into right now. So before we go any further, I want to introduce my good friend here, Mr. Clayton. You guys know him if you're on the Medicare Cafe Facebook group. You know Clayton. He's dropping mad knowledge. I've never said that in my life.
No, I liked it.
He is super active on there on the Senior Marketing Specialist Agent Resources team. He's an Agent Resource Specialist. So that's what he does on that group is he just kind of drops all sorts of stuff on there to be resources to help you guys, especially during AEP.
Yeah, I like dropping mad knowledge. I'm going to use that.
Dropping mad knowledge. Do you know why I think I said that? Is I think Mike Newton, who everybody knows Mike Newton, is a huge in the industry, does a ton. He's actually taught us a lot about how to utilize Facebook, just a great partner of integrity. I think he actually quoted you in one of his groups of like, he's just dropping mad knowledge. And ever since then, I was like... Yeah. That's it. That's the phrase.
Yeah, the Mike Newton shouts out. I'm like, it makes me feel good.
It does. I'm not going to tell you that you're doing great. So it's good that somebody else is.
I'm glad.
So for those of you logging on, Carrie, her and I have been talking. She has had both kids be very sick all since October 15th, honestly. So both kids have recently undergone just horrible coughing fits. She called me on the phone. She's like, I'm on my way. And I'm just like, how about you don't?
Yeah, pause.
And I call that the AEP blues. It's just like when you're so stressed, you're so tired, you're pushing yourself so hard. The Newton's law, everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Mike Newton has laws.
Mike Newton also has laws. But she is under the weather and was really upset she couldn't be here. But, when one door closes, another one opens, so we have Clayton on here today. So, again, this is the pre-chat. We log on just a couple minutes early kind of just to discuss, anything going on. If you guys have questions in the industry, let us know now. You can text us. This is our text line. You can also comment in the YouTube page. We'll answer those questions as we go. But I actually had a fun conversation. You were involved this morning. And it was, let me get my text line up. And it was, who would win in a fight? This is how you know, we at Senior Marketing Specialists are feeling it too. Just like, oh my gosh. The whole times we have right now with, not for our offices, but we're calling companies on your behalf. Yeah. You go out there to sell, we call on your behalf. So, we're dealing with the whole times. We're dealing with the grouchy, reps right now. So, things are just chaos. We were talking about who would win in a fight between gorillas and bears. And I think it was a black bear, but black bears are actually super docile. They're not aggressive. So I would even say...
Pick your angriest of bear.
Grizzly.
Okay, yeah, probably.
Who would win in a fight between a grizzly bear and a gorilla? And not even a king, a normal, an alpha gorilla. Yeah. Not a King Kong, no. Yeah. Could you imagine a bear the size of King Kong?
King Kong version of a bear?
No.
Yeah, that wins.
But my question this morning before we get started is who do you think would win a fight between a grizzly bear, the angriest of bears, and a gorilla? Just a normal gorilla. The gorilla doesn't even have to be mad.
I'm sticking with the bear because talons can't get close.
But bears have thumbs.
Just rip you open real quick.
So will the thumb.
No. I can't. I'm not a military. I can't.
This is a hill I'm willing to die on. I really think the gorilla would win. And you're only use the thumb to hitchhike away from the fight. That's all they'll do. I can't agree with that one. Plus, didn't you say one of your argument was the gorilla would make the bear think that it's cool?
Yeah.
Hey, everything's great, and then just attack.
Yeah, sneak attack. Yeah.
See, now you're on Team Gorilla.
No, that's just a dumb talon.
So anyways, this is not what you guys came here for today. It is at the top of the hour. Nobody had any questions, though, so you got to listen to me and Clayton debate bears versus gorillas for a little bit. But anyways, there was also something to think about we don't talk about now, but who would win between a cheetah and a human with a knife, but they're in a pit. They're in a pit. So, the cheetah can't get ground speed. In a pit, cheetah versus human, who would win?
I'll think about that one.
Okay. So, today, we're going to talk about Amazon, speaking of bears and scary creatures, Amazon compliance and AEP. Oh my. This AEP has been really unprecedented. I will say this is my 10th AEP, and I've never seen one that was so not focused on benefits. It's been focused on literally, like, the consumers are now having to think about the industry as a whole and think about big picture and not just like, do I want a gym membership or do I want dental benefits?
Yeah. All the questions that I've been getting recently are about the outside factors, not the plans. It seems like everyone knows the plan details, but like,
or they're not changing. The stability has been crazy.
That's the other thing is, like, it looks like a lot of the plans are staying pack, but all the questions I'm getting are the outside factors, the ads, the pharmacies, like everything that's changing for the rules versus what's changing with these carriers.
No, for sure. So that's, again, we want to keep today really quick, within 15 minutes. So jumping into it, I'm sorry, my coffee was like, hi. Jumping into it, going into Amazon. So a lot of people are asking, and this was actually something that Carrie wanted us to bring up, and that was the pharmacy of Amazon Pharmacy. This is not new. Amazon Pharmacy has actually been, I remember when Amazon got into the pharmacy game, that was about 2-3 years ago. Yeah. But you're really starting to see it pick up in popularity. And again, they're super, super targeting these pill packs, which targets the senior demographic. So individuals who are taking multiple medications throughout the day, which typically are our seniors, the Amazon Pharmacy has these pill packs to where they pre-package, like, oh, these are your prescriptions. Here is, you take this pack in the morning, this pack at 1, this pack at not midnight. That'd be crazy. Maybe not. I don't know. These seniors,
I don't know your life.
They're crazy. These packs is later in the night. So, like, it's really targeting, and all of their testimonials are people over the age of 65 talking about how this is life-changing.
It's awesome because I know a lot of seniors hate those little pill containers that they pack everything in. And that's something I even had to use. Like, I've put my pills for the day in one of those before. Skittles. And I hate it. Or Skittles, snacks. Skittles. Put a pretzel in one, whatever you want to do. But no, I know a lot that pick that up a lot because these vitamin companies online are obsessed with those pill packs. And it's a big Instagram ads I see all the time. Is like, here's your daily vitamins and here's a little pack for them.
Well, and the idea is it's convenience. That's the whole premise of Amazon. And in fact, in a study done back in 2019, even before COVID, done back in 2019, it was noted that the demographic that prioritize convenience over anything else were the baby boomers. The baby boomers were the ones, they were the highest rated of valuing that compliance convenience. So that's exactly what Amazon is doing. So something that Carrie noticed and something that we're noticing in the field is that clients are talking about this a ton. There was a ton of conversation about, like, hey, can you just put me on the lowest cost plan D? Because I'm not even using my insurance. Now, Amazon does accept insurance, but most people are saying, like, hey, it's actually costing me less to just buy it through these pill packs, to buy it through Amazon. Keeps me out of the donut hole. I'm not even going to use my Part D, so just put me on the lowest cost. So it's affecting, like, insurance purchases at this point.
Right. And there's the low cost and the convenience because it's Amazon.
Right.
You go in there, you can see exactly what you're charged. Hit deliver, be there in 2 days. Like, it's awesome.
Exactly. And it's just like, that's how we've shopped, you know, and again, that's how a lot of pharmacies, mail order was picking up, and, that mail order most of the time can only do a 3-month supply. Amazon will do a 6-month supply, and it does work with the insurance. My biggest thing is, if those individuals, this is a great opportunity to partner up with more of those mom and pop pharmacies. There's a ton going on right now in the pharmaceutical world that is, and I hate to sound grim, but it's actively eliminating those smaller pharmacies. It is a really good time to partner up with those and be like, hey, we have one that's like a Flow Pharmacy. Hey, Flow Pharmacy, let us work, let your clients know that if they work with us, we'll keep them in a plan that has you in network. We'll keep them with the plan that works with you. So a great opportunity to network with your local guys, because this is absolutely hurting them. Michelle said, how do you transition to pill packs when every refill occurs at a different time? Again, it's all done in the algorithms of Amazon. And like I said, the way that it works is you transition your prescription to the Amazon pharmacy, and it does it all in the back end. It works with the insurance if you want to, but it absolutely says we don't need insurance. It works with the pharmaceutical companies. It's all done in the back end. It's pretty slick, but, like, I'm worried for what that means for insurance companies. I'm worried about what that means for the mom and pop pharmacies for sure.
It makes it too easy because I don't know how many times you go to the pharmacy or need to go to the pharmacy and you have like a limited time because you're like, oh, I get off work at 5, the pharmacy closes at 5, I got to get there. You know, it makes it much more difficult just to go to the pharmacy, where Amazon's making it so easy. So I love that you brought up the strategic alliance of talk to those pharmacists.
Again, there's been so much in the industry going on surrounding pharmacies and how it's just making it more and more difficult for mom and pop. I don't have to talk about it now. I can if you want to. I don't think anybody wants me to. But they need support more than ever, and they're really open to having somebody support them, and that could be you.
For sure.
The next thing, and I actually got a text message about this, and so I want to bring it up, is actually going to be around the compliance stuff. The compliance stuff right now, last week, CMS did launch a frequently asked questions to make things, I put on here, more clear. PowerPoint said, girl, it's clearer. I hate that. I went with it because I'm not strong enough in grammar to know if that's correct or not. But it did, again, and that letter was in response to a letter that NAHU sent off a few weeks ago. NAHU, the National Association of Health Underwriters. But they sent off a letter, and essentially, like, they put out this frequently asked questions, but when you read it, it was pretty harsh, and it was very much just like, quit whining, honestly, which is really frustrating.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. There was a lot of reiterating the importance of, just call recordings. And they kind of highlighted, well, what is a sales recording? Or what's a sales call? What's this? And they kind of went over that again.
Clarified a lot, yeah.
Yeah, so that was helpful. I know I looked at that quite a bit just to see, okay, is this the same message that we've been talking about this whole time?
Right.
Like, make sure we're on point.
And like, I know we were always accused of being like, you guys are doing too much. You're taking this, like, you're going too far in the compliance direction. But we were right, thankfully, for Chaylin, our compliance officer, as well as our backing with integrity. So a couple things that did clear up. Number one, Zoom calls. Audio and visual must be recorded. Those must be recorded. Zoom calls are not exempt from the call recording. That was spelled black and white in that frequently asked questions. Number two, if they don't want to be recorded, which was the text message I just got from somebody, if they don't want to be recorded, then you have to end the call. There is no, okay, like, sorry, well, you don't want to be recorded. Let me turn off the recording. I have it recorded that you don't want this. If they say, I don't want to be recorded, then you terminate the call and go see them face-to-face. Face-to-face still doesn't need to be recorded at this time, but just know that, like, that was something that was going around, that you don't have to record Zoom calls, and if they don't want to, you don't have to. Neither one of those are accurate, so just keep that in mind. Another thing we'll talk about really quick with the compliance is some more things that came out last week. There is absolutely continuing no distinction between field agents and call centers. Yeah. That was another thing NAHU kept saying, like, hey, please, please, please make sure that, like, there is a difference. If you look at that, CMS came back and said, no, there is no difference. We're looking at them the same.
Yeah, like contractually, they can't tell a difference between a call. Okay, well, here are the differences.
Here are the differences.
But as of now, there is none.
Yeah. We may have some buffering issues. We've been having some weird Wi-Fi stuff, so sorry, guys, if there is weird buffering issues. We're just going to keep going. Terry mentioned on here, I saw some carriers are checking on the recordings even without a complaint. And that's exactly for this next point. They're calling on carriers to police. They basically, again, just reiterated that CMS is actually getting back involved. We'll talk about that here in a second. But they're saying that it is the carrier's responsibility. So if again, the CMS is going to hold the carriers responsible, the carriers are holding you. So you're going to see, again, Terry saying that carriers are checking on recordings. You are going to see audits of, hey, how is this? You're going to see just audits being done.
Like proactive
audits. And it's good that the carriers are doing it to make sure, because the carriers, if you're doing something wrong, is typically like, hey, let's do some training to correct this. This is what you need to do in the future. If CMS sees you doing something wrong, that's a completely different conversation. Right. So it isn't a bad thing that carriers are being strict and proactive. For this last point here, CMS is bringing back secret shopping. We have been without CMS secret shoppers since about 2019. They actually got rid of the secret shopping program because they just didn't have the funds for it. Yeah. They're bringing it back. They're already doing it, and in fact, 80% of CMS secret shoppers have failed the agent.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not looking great. So
Oh.
just be aware of that. They're calling on things like, hey, this lead, this advertising, this 1-800 number. If you're advertising whatsoever, then it's likely that you could be secret shot by CMS. They're not just like, that used to be like little old ladies walking into your office and asking questions, and it was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
It's not that way anymore. They're only responding to advertising and leads.
Yeah, because me and you could work for CMS, pick up or call a lead company and just say, hey, I want some Medicare. And they're like, cool, let's get you to
Let's
this
see
guy.
this process. Yeah.
And then if there's anything that kind of raises a red flag during that kind of where it starts the audit process.
Mm-hmm.
So needing to know where that lead came from, making sure that if it was on the phone that part was recorded,
And
your BAA,
it's the agent.
everything.
It's the agent that's being held responsible,
Exactly.
not the lead vendor.
So every step of the process has to be taken care of, and that's something we've talked about, that this is important. Here's CMS shopping proving that this is really important stuff.
Exactly. It's when everybody was asking like, hey, what's going to happen if I don't? You're about to find out, honestly. So making sure that you're doing the best to remain compliant. Last slide here, because I do want to make sure we get out of here in plenty of time, is just updates on AEP. Right now, tons of confusion about the Inflation Act, talking about how that $2,000 max out of pocket for drugs, that's going to be here by 2030 or 2035.
I think so. I think next year, 2024, they're going to make some changes to the catastrophic coverage.
Right.
Kind of easing into that.
But unfortunately, a lot of clients think it's happening now.
Yep.
So there's a lot of questions around that. The inflation, I keep saying inflation protection, but that's not what it is, because you don't want to protect inflation. But the whole, the max out of pocket happening, obviously the first step was the insulin coverage. So a lot of confusion on that still. More concerns surrounding insulin. I've not noticed this, but Carrie mentioned this, that she's finding that a lot of pharmacies are narrowing like their networks. Like a lot of networks are getting really narrow. She says particularly with pharmacies about saying like we used to accept 40 plans, now we accept 4. Okay. So just keeping that in mind as well. I think it's a result of a lot of the stuff we already talked about, the herding coming to the pharmaceutical, most of the mom and pop pharmacies. But narrow networks has been something that we're seeing a lot of right now. So just keep that in mind. More important than ever to run networks. And then COLA, really well received. People are no increase in the Part B premium, huge increase, and COLA is resulting in some really happy clients right now.
For sure. And a couple good blogs we just posted on that recently. The one going over the Inflation Act kind of broke it down by years. Mm-hmm. So that was super beneficial to check that one out.
Yeah. So make sure, again, that's smsteam.net. Click on the news section. We got tons of stuff. Actually, everything we talked about, we have a blog on right now. Yeah. So check her out. Michael says, how prolific is Amazon in the pharma space, and are there any compliance or Part D penalty ramifications the beneficiary should be aware of? So again, that was what we were talking about earlier. Amazon being in this space is huge. I think this is step one of Amazon being in the not only pharmaceutical but the healthcare industry. Yeah. There is a lot of talks about Amazon right now. They have like their own insurance that they do, but it's for like their employees. I wonder how long that's going to last. But it is huge. There's been a ton of talk right now about Amazon and consumers preferring to utilize Amazon as their pharmacy. As far as like penalties and things like that go, if it's not credible coverage, it's just a pharmacy. So like the person still has to have prescription drug coverage, Part D, in order to avoid the penalties. But I will say, like, if you can make it so that your clients, if it's cheaper for your clients to use the Amazon pharmacy, it keeps them. If they don't use, they can use insurance with it, but if they don't, because it's cheaper, then like that also keeps them out of the donut hole. So. Right. It is something to consider. A lot of people are doing it right now.
Yeah, those lower cost premium PDPs are going to be more popular if their drugs are able to go through without insurance on the Amazon. So
there's also this year like a crazy amount of prescription drug plans that are non-commissionable. Yeah. And I was talking to Chaylin the other day. I know he was talking about this, just talking about what is the Inflation Act, not Inflation Protection, Inflation Prevention Act. What is that going to do? Because Part D plans are having to eat up the costs of a lot of the additional costs that are happening there. And so I think we're just in the beginning of seeing Part D plans become non-commissionable. A lot of them can't happen this year. I can imagine we'll continue to see that trend.
that's a really good theory of just like what do they do next, because they're
Mm-hmm.
already changing formulas and making the more and more plans non-commissionable. So it seems like they're kind of pulling back already.
They are, and it's just not as profitable, but it's I will continue to shout this from the rooftop. I don't care if it costs you money to do a Part D analysis and to enroll people in Part D. It is 100% worth it.
Yep.
It is 100%. Even with everything going on right now, call recording, everything, it is in your best interest as the agent to help them enroll into a prescription drug plan. It is the most used insurance that a client has. It is the most impactful on their wallet. It is a referral source. It is a lead source. I will fight tooth and nail that it is 100% worth it for you to do prescription drug enrollments.
Anything you can do to help them with their health insurance.
Honestly.
Do that.
Mm-hmm. I always equated it to, if you're going to sell insurance but not help with prescription drug costs, that's like going to a dentist that doesn't do the tooth cleaning or the teeth cleaning. Or it's like going to the dentist that's like, I'll show you that you have cavities, but I need you to go somewhere else to fill it. I only do teeth cleanings. I only I can tell you when there's a problem, but I'm not going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
That's what it's like to not service the Part D side.
And he's back. Okay, I'm out. I'm going to go to a dentist.
Yeah.
Crentis the dentist.
Crentis the dentist. Mary says it will be disappointing if they make them non-commissionable. Will our licensing allow us to charge for fee placement and non-commissionable plans? Mary, I won't even go that far yet. Let's not worry about what happens if they become non-commissionable, because there's a lot of steps that will have to happen before that could happen. But ultimately, no, it is against the Department of Insurance. Your state Department of Insurance will not allow you to charge a fee and accept commissions. So if you charge a fee, that means you cannot accept commissions on any of the policies sold. So Medicare Advantage, Cancer, DBH. If you charge a fee, even if it's just a fee for a portion of it, you cannot charge a fee for that entire appointment. Or you cannot accept a commission, period. You cannot do both commissions and fees. So don't do it. Don't worry about that right now. Just some us thinking of what's the implications.
Yeah. Chalen's really good about those future theories.
How does this rule affect you tomorrow? Yeah, very cool. All right, guys, so that is what we have. Just a quick update going into AEP, 10 days in, what's going on with you guys. So Clayton and I are going to hang out here for a little bit longer, but just to reiterate, we talked about Amazon and the effects and the ripples it's having on our seniors. We talked about compliance and the clarification we received last week, and of course just AEP in general, what we're seeing out there.
Yeah, I will say the most kind of questions I'm getting on the compliance aspect are on people still trying to make more communication pieces, which I love because you can still get your message out there and you kind of point across without having to be a marketing piece and having to go through the kind of checks and balances that CMS has. So.
Oh, for sure. That's a great point. If you are making your own pieces, there is a difference of the rules and regulations between not communicative, because that means communication, and not communicative, because it means everybody uses it. Communicative, like a communicative pool. A communication versus marketing. We know the rules and regulations, so if your piece is a marketing piece, send it to us. We'll do our best to turn it into communication while still accomplishing what you want to accomplish. It's going to make your life way, way easier.
Especially this late in the game.
I mean, they're saying it's it was 6 to 8 weeks. Then they changed the rules even more last week, so now it's 8 to 12 week turnaround time for your marketing pieces to get CMS approved. Yeah, Michelle just said, when do we hear back? Again, now they're saying between 8 to 12 weeks to hear back from submitted CMS pieces. And yeah, Terry says, in California for health, I get no commissions for Medi-Cal because I do it because it helps the person. It helps the person, you get referrals. It's 100%. It's that's how I look at PDPs. PDP is a commissioned lead source, honestly. It is a commissioned lead source, so... Yeah.
It's a value add that you're doing for the client. It's hey, I'm going to help make sure your drugs are also taken care of, even if I'm not getting paid on it, because you know that more and more things will come from working with that client.
Listen, I would never do this because I love everybody, but if I was an agent in the field and I had somebody say, oh, my agent didn't help me with my drugs, you know how easy it is to turn that client against that agent? So you're telling me, yeah, the reason they didn't do that is because they get big commissions on the other things. They don't get paid very much, but that's what you need the most. So that's who your agent is. Again, I would never do it.
Highlight what you do.
But I would. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys. Get out there. If you do have any questions, obviously you can call our team. You can always talk to Clayton. You can also talk to myself. Our number is 800-689-2800. Again, that's 689-2800.
2800.
Why was that? I just had a mini stroke there.
689-2800.
Uh-huh.
I say it a bajillion times a day.
I love it. All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. So, okay. Do you know the rules? You did this before.
Ooh, I think so. Let's try.
Fun. Wait, and so have fun, make money, give impeccable service.
I was going to try it.
Oh, ignore that.
Forgot.
So ready? Have fun.
Make money.
And give impeccable service.
Give impeccable service.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Bye.